morning. If you're here on the East Coast with me, it is the morning. Otherwise, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Jen, and today we're going to be doing a class in the original Lotte Berk technique. So this is a class in the original format, covering all the exercises in the order in which they were designed by Lotte and her daughter, Esther Fairfax. And so all you need for equipment is a sturdy surface such as a chair or a couch. I'm going to be using a bar and a chair. You can do any of these moves with just your equipment that you have at home, and that's all you're going to need besides yourself. So just want to thank you so much for joining me here this morning. I'm going to cue the music up and we'll get started with the warm-up. All of the moves in the warm-up, we do about 8 repetitions of each, and then that's pretty much the gist for the entire workout. We do anywhere between 8 and 10 repetitions of the movements, some more than others. So you'll see, I hope you enjoy this workout in the original Lotte Berk technique. All right, so we're going to get started with the warm-up. I'm going to just kind of angle myself so you can see the moves. We're going to start with the feet hip distance apart as usual, ears in line with shoulders, hips nice and drawn in, belly button nice and tight. We're going to reach up. If you can get a little bit of an arch in the back, great. Otherwise, that's fine. You're going to swing down, bounce twice, and then come back up to the top. Again, down and up. We're really trying to open up through the backs of the legs, through the front of the body. Getting a nice stretch, getting the heart nice and warmed up as we move along. We're going to do a few more of these. Really get into it. Try to feel the beat of the music. And just enjoy. This is the best warm-up I've ever done. Okay, so now we're going to bring the feet a little wider than hip distance. You're going to come over with a nice flat back, and I just want you to reach those arms forward, as if you're reaching for something in front of you that you just want to reach and grab a hold of, trying to keep nice and straight through the backs of the legs if you can. If not, definitely something to aspire to. Now we're going to come down, round the back over, and just do little light taps on the floor. Again, trying to stay nice and straight through the backs of those legs. Let's do a few more. Okay, now, stack one hand over the other, and we're going to do something called the porpoise. So you're going to come up, undulate the spine, shoot the porpoise fins through those legs. Again, opening up through the backs of the legs. This is an amazing hamstring stretch. But really get into it. Now, we're going to come down, just shooting the arms through here. So you're just shooting the arms through the legs. As I said, I'm a former runner, and this is like one of the best warm-ups I've ever done to really open the back of the body. Now, bring your hands to your shins or your ankles and just pulse your chest toward your thighs. Do a couple more. Stay here. We're not done yet. Bring those hands on top of one another again and draw little figure eights over the fronts of your toes, keeping the hips steady, right? We are just wanting to feel the movement through the spine. We don't want to move the hips. Keep the hips nice and still here. Okay, now I want you to very slowly bend the knees, roll up to stand. Bring those legs back together again. I'm keeping my right hand pushing into my thigh. Let's bring both arms up. Now push the right hand in and really reach up and over through the waist. So I really want you to think up and over. We're starting to open the waist up here. We do a lot of waist work in this routine. So really warming everything up through the opening up through the sides of the body. Other hand comes up. Push the left hand into the left thigh. Up and over with that right hand here. Always feels so good to open up the body, get everything nice and warm before we get into our work, which I'm so excited to share with you today. All right, now bring both arms up, grabbing onto your elbows, up and over again through the sides. Really opening up through those obliques, trying to keep the legs nice and straight. We're going to do a lot of keeping the legs straight in this workout. It opens up those hamstrings and back to the legs. You can hear me say that a million times, but it's true. All right, perfect. Let's bring the arms down. I want you to give yourself some clearance here. We're going to open the arms up. So nice Arm swings back. And then swap sides. I always feel some little cracks in my shoulders here. Bring the arms to the sides. This is the only time in the workout I'm going to tell you to do this. Bring those shoulders up to those ears. Really getting into the sides of the body again. Perfect. Getting nice and warm. Now we're going to do like a little open, like swing the arms up and then slap them toward the back here. So we're kind of doing a little flamenco type move, opening up and toward sort of a figure 8 movement again, slapping the arms back behind. Good. Let's do a few more of these. Really slap that back there. Now just little figure 8, slight bend in the elbows. Keeping everything nice and open through the chest. Now keeping the arms here, slap the back wall here. So you're open. You should be feeling your chest starting to warm up, as well as the biceps, triceps, backs of the shoulders. Now go up. Whew, I'm feeling the my deltoids, back of the shoulder blades opening, as well as the chest. Everything's getting nice and warmed up. Make little fists. Keep going back with those arm movements for me. This warm-up is amazing. It's like 26 steps, but it really gets everything ready. Bring the arms forward, and imagine you're just slapping somebody on the sides of the head, actually. We're not clapping our hands completely. We're just slapping the air. Now, bring those hands together and bring the arms back. So you're keeping everything nice and still, except for the arms. They're going back to open up the backs of the shoulders and the upper back. Just bend the elbows now. So we're keeping the tops of the arms straight. We're just bending the elbows. Again, keeping that belly nice and tight. Let's come on down. Roll the shoulders back. Get those nice and ready to go. Now bring your hands to your shoulders. Bring your elbows close together. Open them up. So bringing the elbows up and over. We're almost there. Let's do a few more. Okay, so now what I want you to do, I'm going to come a little close. I want you to grab onto your forearms and just imagine you're pushing the sleeves up. So you're just pushing the skin up on those arms as if you're pushing sleeves up. And this is getting the chest. So you may be feeling your chest rising and falling depending on how developed your pectorals are. Let's do a couple more. And we're going to bring the arms down to the side. I just want you to look to the right. Come center, look left. Come center, right, center, left. Now just tilt the head to the side, center, other side, center, side, center. And just give me a little head roll to the right and the left. One more, right and left. We're all warmed up, so let's come on over to our standing bar, our surface, whatever we're using. We're going to work the top of the thigh first. So I'm starting with my feet parallel. Both legs are straight. I'm going to bring my bottom leg out nice and straight, keeping a slight tilt in that tailbone, bringing my arm out to the side. Crown of the head is toward the ceiling, shoulders relaxed down the back. Now, we don't want to lean back here. We want to bring that leg up nice and high. Little bend in the leg, right? We're going to go down, up, stretch, bend. Down, up, stretch, bend. So I'm keeping that leg up as high as I can. As we get into the workout, it's going to want to fall a little bit. So we're just doing a little down, up. Tiny, tiny, tiny movements. Really pointing through that foot. Down, up, stretch, bend. Let's do one more. Stretch, keep the bend. Little pumps up. So I have a slight curve behind that knee. I'm just pumping up a little bit toward the ceiling here. I'm feeling my thighs on fire. Bar, the leg closest to the bar, trying to keep nice and straight. Pump it up. Now we're going to straighten the leg. Give me a happy foot, which is a flexed foot. Pump it up again. Keep breathing. Let's do a few more pumps. Keeping the leg up high. I know it's getting tired. Hold that happy foot. Bring that arm up if you can. Hold nice and straight and strong. 4, 3, 2. Release it back and stretch. So that worked the entire top of the leg. We're going to switch our sides and do the other side. Same setup. Both legs nice and straight. Pointing that right leg for me forward. Arm coming out to the side. Nice and straight. Tilting the tailbone. Slight bend in that knee. Down, up, stretch, bend. Down, up, stretch, bend. Good. Trying to stay nice and tall. The tendency as we get tired, as I said, is to start leaning back. Down, up, stretch. Down, up, stretch. Good. Down, up, stretch, bend. Really pointing through the toe, crown of the head to the ceiling. Nice tilt there. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Keep that bend. Little lifts up. I know the leg's starting to fatigue. Once you feel the shake, just keep embracing that shake there. A few more pumps up, and then we're going to move to our happy foot. And now let's do a happy foot straight behind that leg. Pump it up here. If you want to, you can bring the arm up or keep it out to the side. Really lifting that leg as high as you can. Feeling this whole side of the leg engage here. Now let's just do 3, 2, hold. Bring the arm up if you want to. Hold, hold, hold. And release and stretch that back of that leg up. So that was top of the thigh. Now we're going to do the back of the thigh. I'm going to grab my chair so that I'm not completely facing you from the behind. So let's work, let's see. Yes, this leg first. We're going to bring our feet and legs together. We're zipping everything up through from the heels all the way up through the bottom. We're going to hold on to our steady surface here. And we're going to work I'm going to work my left leg first. I'm going to bring it behind me. So if I'm on a clock, my leg's pointing towards 7. Now my hip open. Draw that hip back toward your steady surface. We want those hips to have light tail lights on them, right? Now we're going to lift, slight bend behind the leg here. We're going to lift, bend, stretch. Lift, bend, stretch. Now if you feel that hip opening up, readjust your body toward your stable surface. And it's a small, small move. So if we make the move too big, it's going to throw us out of alignment. So it's just a little lift, stretch, bend. And there's a soft bend in that standing leg. I should have told you that there. We should have bent both legs here. Lift, stretch, bend, lift, stretch. Really pointing through the toe, feeling the back of the thigh work. Lift, stretch, bend, lift, stretch. Last one. Lift, stretch. Keep the bend. Just now lifting the entire shape of the leg up toward the ceiling. Keeping that tilt in the tailbone. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Keeping everything nice in alignment. Little tiny, tiny movements here. But they are very effective. A few more pumps. Now I want you to straighten the leg. Happy foot. Little pumps up with that happy foot. I know it's starting to get tiring. Let's do a few more. Now just hold that happy foot nice and straight through the back of that leg. Hold one arm up and release. Shake it out, stretch it out. I'm going to turn my chair. We're going to do the opposite side here. So we're going to bring those feet, everything's nice and sealed together. Open up into your natural turnout. Slight bend in those knees. I'm bringing my right leg behind me at like 5 o'clock. See my hip opened? Turn it back toward that steady surface here. And we're just going to lift it up, slight bend, lift, bend, stretch, little move. Lift, bend, tiny movements. Lift, bend, stretch, lift, bend, stretch. Good. So what you're doing is really focusing in on working the back of the thigh, the hamstring, all the way up to that waist. I told you that waistline is going to get a workout. Lift, stretch, bend, lift, stretch. Good. Lift, stretch, bend, lift, stretch. We're going to do a couple more. Lift, stretch, bend, lift, stretch, bend. Keep the bend. Little lifts up. So the whole shape of the leg is pumping up. Remember, there's a soft bend in that supporting leg. Trying to pull that tilt in, pull those hip bones toward that rib cage, toward that steady surface. Let's do 3, 2, happy foot, straight leg, little pumps up again. Keep breathing, keep focusing in on what you're doing. Everything is so nice and straight and tight and strong and solid. Let's do a few more. Just hold that leg behind. You can float that right arm up. Hold 4, 3, 2, release, and put it back there for me. All right, so now we're going to be doing the outside of the thigh. I'm going to go back to my bar for this. This is called standing tall. So I have my right leg, both legs are parallel. I'm an arm assistant. My left arm is out to the side. I'm going to tilt the tail again. I'm going to extend my left leg out to the side and slowly, carefully relax that thigh. So it's kind of turning in a little bit. I have a soft bend behind that knee. What we're going to do is just tap the floor, little taps. Now the standing leg is straight, no bend this time. Little taps on the floor, trying to keep that hip rolled in and that leg straight up from the side. If you want to, you can lean toward the working leg. You'll feel a stretch in the opposite side of the body. Let's do a couple of more taps. Now, bend stretch here. So I'm trying to keep my inside leg nice and straight, bending and stretching through the working leg, and I'm leaning over toward the side here to work the waist even more. A few more little bend stretches. Happy foot, straighten everything. The toes are pointing forward. Everything's straight through both legs. Little lifts toward the ceiling there. So I'm feeling it right here in the waist and all along the outside of that thigh. Now get ready. We're going to hold it. Hold it up. See if you can lean over just a little bit, pointing the toes forward. Hold 4, 3, 2, release, and stretch it out. So you can lean into that hip that was working. And we're going to reverse sides. All right, perfect. So same thing. I'm about an arm's distance from my bar. My feet are parallel. I'm straight behind both legs. I'm going to bring my right leg out to the side, rolling the hip in slightly. There's a slight curve behind that leg. Right arm comes out to the side, and I'm just going to tap, tap, tap the floor. And again, I'm leaning over slightly to the side to get a nice stretch in the opposite waist. And I feel a crunch, just like a stable crunch here on this waist. So tapping. All right, couple more taps. Bring the leg up, little bends and stretches. So straighten the leg and then little bends and stretches here. Ooh, I'm feeling it right here in the waist because I'm holding that waist nice and solid with like a stable crunch. Do a couple more. Now, straighten the leg, happy foot, little pumps up here. And I'm leaning over to the side, straight leg, trying to keep that leg nice and straight out from the side of my body. It was floating back a little bit, so I had to readjust. Toes pointing forward. 2 more pumps. Now just hold that happy foot. Breathe, let everything shake. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1, and you can sit into that side and stretch it out. All right, so moving right along, feel free at any point in time to grab a sip of water. I may be doing so myself. We're going to come on down to the floor and we're going to do our genies. So these work the tops of the thighs as well. My legs are a little bit wide apart. You can bring them closer, but I have bad knees, so I'm going to keep mine nice and far apart. I'm going to keep my ears and my shoulders, my hips all in alignment. We're going to stack our arms like a genie, and we're going to raise our bottom up about 1 inch off our heels. I want you to bring the hips in and out. So here we're doing a little pelvic tilts, in, out. Now the lower you stay down in this position, the more you're going to feel your thighs kicking in. So try to stay nice and low. Keep breathing, and I'll keep working you through. We're going to do a few different little variations of this movement. Let's do another few of these, and then we're going to go up and down. 3, 2. Now stay here. Keep the hips tilted in. We're going to go up for 2, down for 2. Up, 2, down, 2. Just nice and slow and steady. Keeping that pelvic tilt here. Up, 2, down, 2. Now bring the arms up and keep them up. So now we have the arms lifted. Down, 2. Feel the burn here. Keep breathing through. Up, 2, down, 2. One more. Okay, now hip, hip. So we're staying in that hover about an inch above those heels. Hopefully I'm about an inch above those heels. Hip, hip. Good. So now we're getting the obliques working, the waistline, feeling the legs, getting into the music here. Hip, hip. Good. 4, 3, 2. Hold the arms up. I have my hover. I'm just going to pulse my arms toward the back wall. Hovering here. Breathing. We're going to do a few more pulses. And then just hold this last pulse. Hold everything nice and steady. Keeping the ears away from the shoulders. Hold 4, 3, 2. Relax down. I always find a good thigh pounding to work well here. And we're going to come into a little bit of a stretch to give that body a little bit of a relief. So I'm bringing my right knee into my chest. Keeping a nice straight back, I'm just going to rotate my left ankle one direction and then the opposite. And then switch. Bring in the left leg in, rotate my foot in one direction, pick either direction that you want, and then the opposite direction. Let's keep both legs nice and straight, happy feet. Just push the backs of the legs into the floor. So you might find that your heels pop up. I'm not popping my heels. I'm pushing my thighs into the floor here. And let's do a few points and happies, just to make sure we get a nice stretch through those legs. And now I'd like you to bring your legs into butterfly. And just flap those little butterfly wings. Enjoy that inner thigh stretch. The stretch on the outer thigh. We worked the outer thigh, the top of the thigh, and the back of the thigh. Okay. I want you to just cross your legs and sit tight. One sec. I want to just put a song on that's a little... Okay. So, we're going to sit here, and we're going to do our inner spirit work here, which is basically Kegels. This is our pelvic floor section. So I'm going to lead you through a little visualization here. I want you to bring your hands to your knees and just relax everything. You can close your eyes. I'm going to close my eyes. And I just want you to relax the entire body. So the pelvic floor muscles are those muscles that we use to stop the flow of urine or gas. So these are the muscles that we're going to work here. I want you to imagine 4 points that you're sitting on. You're sitting on your 2 sits bones, right and left, and then we have our pubic bone and our tailbone. So let's start with the 2 sits bones. I want you to imagine that the 2 sits bones are elevator doors, and they're closing shut nice and tight. Let's start riding up on that elevator. So pull those muscles up and in, and we're ascending all the floors here. We're up to the 3rd floor, 4th floor, 5th floor, 6th floor. Hold there at the 6th floor for me. Now slowly come all the way down to the ground floor, very slowly. And when you get to the ground floor, I want you to open the doors up nice and wide. Relax everything, okay? We're going to do that again. So pull everything nice and tight. Pull those doors shut. Come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come down to the 3rd floor. 5, 4, 3. Come back up to 6, 4, 5, 6. Hold and release nice and slowly all the way down to the 1st floor, opening up those doors for me. Now, pubic bone, tailbone, they're being attached by a zipper. So zip up from the back to the front. Zipping those 2 muscles up. Zip that zipper all the way up to the tippity top and hold there. And zip that zipper all the way down. And release the entire zipper at the bottom. Let's do that one more time. Zip up nice and slow all the way up to the top. Hold that zipper at the top and release all the way down to the bottom. Now, all 4 points are going to join together on that elevator. Take the pubic bone, tailbone, the sits bones, pull them all in. We're going to ride all the way up to the penthouse. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold at the 10th floor. Take a look at the view. And all the way back down to the bottom, to the lobby. Open the doors, and you are all set to go on with the rest of the workout. So that was our Kegels and pelvic floor work, which we do every class. Now we're going to come onto all fours. So I'm going to twist my body a couple of different ways so you can see me. But let's situate ourselves so that our hands are beneath our shoulders and our knees are beneath our hips. We're going to extend that right, I'm going to do my left leg first, out to the side, making sure that the 2 hip bones are pointing down toward the floor. Don't open, right? Lift the leg up, keep the gaze in front of the hands, and just lift and lower in nice, slow, controlled, full range movements here. So we're working the backs of the legs again. We're working the glutes. So you're just going to lift and lower. So my right leg, the leg that's supporting me, I'm pushing that shin down into the floor to support me, and I'm pushing the weight of my hands into the floor. Hold the leg up, little pulses here, little lifts. So keeping the core nice and tight, making sure that belly doesn't fall out. We're going to lift, a few more of these, then we're going to do some bends and stretches. Lift 4, 3, now little bends and stretches. Keep the leg up high. Little tiny bends and stretches, little movements here. I'm really tensing up. I'm really working the entire back of my left leg here. Keeping those hip bones shining toward the floor. Now I want you to give me a happy foot and just pump the leg up here. We're almost done with this side. Pump up. Let's do a few more. Now I want you to hold that happy foot. Hold 4, 3, 2, release, and take a quick stretch back. And I'm going to just reposition my body to do the opposite side. Same setup, making sure the belly stays in. I'm going to move up just a little bit. Extending the leg out, shining the hip bones toward the floor. Big lifts and lowers. So I really want you to think about lifting up nice and high, controlling the lower, because that's where we're going to find a lot of the work is in the lower. Lift, lower. My gaze is out a few feet in front of my hands. My belly is nice and tight, trying to keep the shoulder blades closed behind me. A few more of these, then we're on to our little pulses. All right, keep the leg up nice and high. Little pulses here, feeling it working, the glute, the hamstring, into the back, lower back even. We shouldn't be feeling pain, but we're feeling that lower back work. Pushing the weight of my standing, supporting leg through my shin. Pushing weight through the palms of my hands. All right, get ready. We're going to do little bends and stretches. Ready? Bend, stretch. Keep that leg up as high as you can. Little bend stretches here. That leg's nice and straight behind you. That belly is nice and tucked in. Those shoulders are away from those ears. A few more. Okay. Leave the leg straight. Happy foot. Little pumps up with that happy foot. We're almost there, guys. You're doing great. I know this is hard work, right? All right, let's do a few more pumps. And now just hold that happy foot nice and straight through the back of that leg. Push through the hands. Release it down. Give yourself a little bit of a stretch here. Sitting into those hips. All right, now we're going to do some upper body work for the chest. We're going to do something called the Pluto Sniffles. So I'm going to kind of turn myself towards you. We're going to feel everything through the thighs, right? So we're keeping our knees together. We're going to walk the hands out so that they're slightly wider than shoulder width. I think I might need to back up a little bit to show you this. What we're going to do is dive down toward the floor, bending our arms. We want to think nose, chin, chest. So we're like a dog sniffing the floor, okay? I'll show you one here. So I'm going to, actually I have to reposition myself. Bend the arms, dive, nose, chin, chest, hold, enjoy the stretch. Push yourself back. Ready to try another one? Dive down, nose, chin, chest. This is tough. I have to really think about getting as close to the ground as I can. We're gonna dive, nose, chin, chest. Good, we're gonna do a few more. Come back for me. Again, dive, nose, chin, chest. Beautiful. Let's do 2 more. And we're gonna dive, nose, chin, last one, best one, okay? So really get in a position. Think nose, chin, chest. Give yourself a beautiful stretch at the end. Nose, chin, chest. Amazing. Good. Now push yourself back into a nice child's pose. Come on up into all fours and push yourself into a down dog. You can even pedal the heels here. Back to the legs. Bend the knees. Walk the hands back to the feet. Walk the feet back to the hands. Slowly roll up to stand. Head is the last thing to come on up. Now we're going to come back to our steady surface and we're going to work the calves. All right, as I catch my breath. We are going to start with our feet and everything sealed up again like we did earlier. I'm going to hold on to my steady surface. I'm going to open my feet into a little pizza pie and I'm going to come up onto as high as I can with the balls of my feet. Then I'm going to draw my heels back down to the floor, come back up, down and up. This is called floor off. Floor off. So we're pushing ourselves off the floor here, trying to keep the heels as nice and close together as we can, but anatomically that's not proper. That's not easy for everyone. And we're also keeping our body as straight as we can. So we don't want to lean into our surface. We want to stay nice and straight, drawing the hips forward. Imagine we have a book on our head. Now we're going to stay up nice and tall. Okay, so we're going to do a little combo. So we're going to go down, up, half, up. Down, up, half, up. Down, up. You can even pick the pace up a little bit if you want to. Hopefully you're feeling some heat building in the backs of those legs. Up all the way through into the glutes. Down, up, half, up. Half up, down, up. Let's pick up the pace. Let's do 4 more. Then we're just going to do the ups. Last 2. Come all the way up and just do little ups here. Really burning out the legs as we finish off this calf series. And then we're going to move into some thigh. Up, up. Awesome. Now it's hard to keep. I don't have like a really steady surface. So at the bar, it's a little easier. Last one. Hold. Squeeze the backs of the legs. Come on down. Take a little stretch if you need to. We will be stretching in a few minutes. I'm going to grab a quick sip of water here. Okay, so now we're going to work the thighs. This is called serious thigh, and you'll see why momentarily, I hope. You can come parallel to your steady surface, and we are going to start in our narrow V again. So everything's nice and sealed up through the thighs. I'm going to open up into my little natural turnout, my little pizza pie position. If you can, come up onto the balls of the feet and keep the heels sealed together. If this is not available today, you can always stay nice and flat-footed. Now we want to bring the tilt in here. Ears, shoulders, hips all in alignment. My legs are already shaking. And we're just going to come down and up. So come down nice and low in that work zone. I want you to feel it. We're just doing little downs and ups, making sure the knees are tracking toward the back. They're not collapsing in, down, up. Good. My legs are shaking. Hopefully yours are too. Down, up. I want you to feel it. If you're not feeling it, get a little lower for me. Down, up, down. Now we're going to come down into our work zone, just up here. Little pulses up. Trying to keep everything nice and straight and steady. Light grip on that bar. It's just there to support us. Little ups. Up, up, up. Good. Now, stay low in the work zone. Pulse the knees back for me. Little pulses back. We're breathing. And we're working those thighs. Feel the burn. And you can bring that arm out to the side if you want to. I've been having it on my hip because I'm getting tired. But you can always bring it out to the side. Okay, ready? Come all the way up. All the way down. All the way up. One more. All the way down. All the way up. Now we're going to do a little combo. Come back down to that work zone. We're going to go in and out to start. So start with those hips going in and out. Now, we're going to combine this with a little in, out, down, up. In, out, down, up. In, out, down, up. We're going to add one more move to this. In, out, down, up. Knees go back. In, out, down, up, back, back. In, out, down, up, back, back. In, out, down, up, back, back. In, out, down, oops, down, up. Last one. In, out, down, up. Just keep going back for me. 4, 3, 2, release, and stretch. I'm going to grab my surface here, and I like you to just come on over in a nice L stretch, stretching out through the backs of those legs. Bring the hands down to the ground, soft bend in the knees, roll on up. Now, my surface is not that steady, so you're going to have to be careful. But I want you to stretch out the back of that leg. So I have my left leg, left heel on the ground. My right ankle is behind that leg, and I'm just pushing my hips toward my surface. Just be careful if you're on a not steady surface. And let's do the opposite side. Just wrapping the ankle around the opposite leg, keeping the opposite heel, stretching, pushing the hips toward the surface, getting a nice stretch. Now, the next thing is bar press-ups. So I am going to turn my body a little bit because this is not going to work for me. So bar press-ups can be done on the floor or up against a wall or a bar. They're just push-ups. They're in England they call them press-ups. So come on over. I'm going to walk you through. Don't mind me turning my back to you. I'm up on the balls of my feet, and I'm going to bring my arms slightly wider than shoulder width, and I'm just going to come down for 2 counts and up for 2. Down, 2, up, 2, down, 2. Now if you're on the floor, you can always go down, 2, up, 2, down, 2, up. Let's do a few more. Down, 2, up, 2, down, 2, up, 2. Stay nice and close to the bar or the floor and just do little pulses for me to finish off. Pulse, pulse, pulse. 4, 3, 2. Relax back into child's pose if you're on the floor. And if you're up against your steady surface or your wall, come back into that nice little L stretch just to release. Now we're going to stretch the backs of the legs. I'm just going to turn this chair around. I'm going to bring my right leg up and over my sturdy surface, reaching up and then rounding over that leg. Little bends and stretches if you can on that leg. The standing leg is staying straight. I'm doing little bends and stretches on the right leg here. And now I'm just going to hold and fold over. I'm going to come back up and grab that leg and pull it behind, giving myself a nice quadricep stretch here. And let's release and do the opposite leg here. Left leg comes up and over. Nice breath in, round down, little bends and stretches. Woo. So you gotta be careful when you're on a not so steady surface, although it does help with core engagement. Little bends and stretches, straight leg on the supporting leg, and then you can round down over the leg that you're stretching. Come back up, take a nice deep breath in, very gently pull that leg behind you for a quadricep stretch. So you're pulling the leg behind, try to draw your hips forward so you feel a little bit more on that front of that leg. All right, so keep your chair here because we're gonna come into our ab work, our core work. So we're gonna come on down to the floor, and you can use an ottoman, you could use a chair. You could even put your feet up against the wall, or if you have a bar, you would actually put your feet under the bar for this. I'm going to bring my feet up on top of my chair here, and the point of it is to push into it so that it keeps your body steady from the waist down, okay? So let's start lying down nice and flat. I want you to press the small of your back into the floor. That's our pelvic tilt. Rise up, grabbing onto the backs of your thighs, arms out to the side. If it ever becomes too much on your neck, you can always hold onto the back. The point is, it's called tilt and grip. We're coming up over those abs, okay? My feet are pressing down into my steady surface, and I'm just going to float my hands off the carpet and just do little lifts. So I'm imagining that my chin and my pubic bone are trying to come together. And I'm just lifting up here, little lifts. Pushing the heels into that chair, lift, good. Let's do a few more. Now, stay here, bring your arms up and lift again. So the arms are up toward the ceiling, and we're still keeping the shoulders up nice and high off the floor, and just doing little lifts here. Up and over. Think folding over those abs. Let's do a few more. I know you're getting tired. Bring the hands behind the head, cradle the head and the fingertips, up and over here. Same thing. Nice deep cleansing breaths, pushing the small of the back into the floor, up and over, up and over. Let's do a few more. Last one. Release down, bring the hands up over the head, rolling the tailbone. So now I'm bringing my abs up and down. So it just kind of releases everything. All right, now we're going to do flat back. Push the small of the back into the floor again. Raise the arms straight up. And now we're keeping our gaze toward the ceiling. And lift up. So nice flat back, small of the back, pressing into the floor. My gaze is at my ceiling as I lift the abs. Again, if this becomes too much on that neck, you can always put the hands behind the head. Okay? Now, let's bring the arms down. Gaze is still forward, but I'm floating my hands over the carpet like I did in the first set. This time, I'm not up and over, I'm just up, up. Now, let's get ready to transition again. Bring the hands up, and we're just gonna walk the arms. Keeping the shoulders off the ground, keeping the whole abdominal area steady. The only thing moving are my arms back and forth. Good, little walks. All right. Let's come down, give ourselves a break. We're gonna do something called a waist wiggler. So these are tough to get the first time, but let me try to walk you through. Okay, tilt and grip again, pushing the small of the back into the floor. What I want you to do is, if you can, bring your arms across your chest. Keep that fold over position and just move ever so slightly from your right to your left. Push those heels into the surface. Don't move anything except your core canister right in your ribs. Imagining you're just like a jar and you're trying to get the top off. We're just moving little tick, 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 tick. Keep moving. Hold steady in the center. Now just fold over, over. Ooh, we're really burning out. Fold over. 4, 3, 2, release down. Bring those hands up. Roll in, roll out. Bring your feet down to the floor. If you have at a couch or something, you can tuck your toes under. We're going to do our elephants, okay? So hands come behind the head. Actually, let's tilt and grip again. Hands come behind the head. And we're going to come up for 1, stay up. Come up for 2, stay up. Keep those elbows nice and wide. 3, 4, 5, we're not going down. 6, we're just going up. 7, 8, we're almost there. 9, 10, 11, 12. Connect the heels, open the legs, bring the arms through and shoot your palms through the opening in your legs here. We are getting ready to end this section momentarily. Shoot 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. You can bring your arms over your head. You can bring your legs to one side, to the right, stretching out. You can bring them to the left. And then you can bring them center and just open everything up through the middle. We're going to come on up for sardines. So this is our core section here. You can move that out of the way. So for sardines, we're going to come up into our C curve. So we have a nice straight back, and we're going to roll down to that tilt and grip position. So I'm going to just reposition myself slightly here. Okay, so roll down to tilt and grip, bringing your legs back, keeping the shoulders up off the ground. We're going to bring the hands behind the head and just do little lifts to start. Just like the way we started in the beginning. Nice little lifts here. Folding over, pressing the small of the back into the floor. Up, up, up. Let's do a few more. Now, bring the elbows together and fold over. So you can get a little bit more of a fold over with your elbows in this position. Folding over, over, over. 3, 2. Now I want you to bring your legs up to tabletop. And we're just going to keep the shoulders off the ground. Open and close those elbows here. So I'm keeping a nice fold over position. Opening and closing. My knees are at 90. Open, close, open, close. Good. Now bring the legs up. And we're just going to reach for those toes. We're going to get a little bit of a break after this. I know those abs are probably screaming at you. Reach with nice straight legs if you can. 3, 2, relax. Give yourself a stretch. You can stretch the arms and the legs out, rolling through the belly. All right, now we're going to do something called palming. So I want you to bring your legs together in a nice long diamond shape, okay? And we're going to do something similar to what we just did. Bring the arms up, shoulders up, and reach those arms toward the feet. We're shooting the arms up, up, up. Good. Small the back is pressing into the floor. A few more of these. This is called palming. 4, 3, 2. Relax back. Give yourself a beautiful, nice little stretch. We're going to bring the knees into the chest and roll up. Bringing the arms above the head. I want you to come on down with a nice sweeping motion. Nice deep breath in. Release back. Deep breath in. One more. Deep breath in and back. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a taste of something called the R escapes and no escapes. And normally, if you have a bar, you would go up against a wall or a bar to do this. But I'm going to show you here on the floor today. It's just a little taste of probably what I find to be the most challenging part of the workout, and it's actually what you work up toward. So the entire beginning of class and what we just did with all of the core work leads you up to this point. So I want you to bring those legs nice and straight in front of you. We're going to bring your hands to the side here. We're pushing into our hands, and I want you to imagine that a big gust of wind came and it like forced you to suck your abs in. So you do have a rounded back here, okay? Now let's take the left leg first. And all I want you to do is lift it off the ground, bend, stretch, put it down, and then do the opposite side. Lift, bend, stretch, down. Lift, bend, stretch, down. Good. Now all the while, keeping a nice C curve here. Lift, bend, stretch, down. Lift, bend, stretch. Good. Lift, bend, stretch, down. Lift, bend, stretch. Lift, bend, stretch. One more. Lift, bend. Now, stay here. Happy feet. And all we're going to do is lift and lower here. So I'm really tightening up that core. So I'm initiating the movement of the legs from my low abs, not from my thighs. So you should be feeling it all down here. A few more of these. And we can release. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Give ourselves a little stretch. So eventually you work up to the point where you can get, and it's hard even for me, like both feet up off the ground and you're doing little bend stretches. Actually, that's not too bad for today. But you do need to eventually work up to that point. So don't feel discouraged if that was difficult. because that's your starting point, and all you can do is get better from there. And that's the most important thing, the most important lesson that I can teach you about this workout is to just stick with it and to just try to get better each and every week, each and every time. All right, let's come on down to our bellies. We're going to do some tummy time here. So we're going to come down to our belly. I want you to seal the legs together. I want you to stack one hand on top of the other, and I want you to rest your forehead on your forearms. Now, I'm going to have to turn my head so I can talk, but I want you to stay in that position. I want you to lift the left leg, pointing the foot, and we're going to lift, stretch, bend, down. Lift, stretch, bend, and down to the floor. So here, try to keep those legs nice and straight behind you. These are called bendies. They're working the back of the leg. Lift, bend, stretch. Lift, bend, stretch, down. Lift, bend, stretch. We're going to do a couple more, and then we're going to do the opposite leg. Now here, you're keeping your hip bones on the floor, and your belly is engaged. Pull the abs away from the floor. Two more. Last one. Lift, bend, stretch, and release. Okay, let me switch my body position here so that you can see the opposite side. Again, we're keeping the hip bones on the floor, pulling the abs away from the floor, stacking our arms one over the other, lifting the opposite leg so we get a nice bend, point the toe up to the ceiling, stretch, bend, lift, stretch, bend. So we're keeping the leg nice and straight behind us. Lift, stretch, and bend. Lift, stretch, bend, lift, stretch, bend, lift, stretch, bend. A few more of these. Lift, stretch, bend, lift, stretch. Last one. Lift, stretch. Keep the legs nice and solid behind you. Keep your arms, your head on your forearms. Lift your legs up off the floor and see if you can paddle them. Little paddles here like we're swimming. If you want, you can always lift your forearms off the floor. And if you want, you can always extend the arms out in front and move the arms and the legs at the same time. So this is getting the back, the entire back side of our body. And we're going to just swim to the end of this workout because we are just about there. Swim, swim, keep going. Few more. And you can release down. I'd like you to bring your arms to your sides, okay? Now, keep your legs on the floor, lifting your chin and chest up, holding here, pushing the hands into the sides of the body, release down. Lift your chin and nose up off the ground, push the arms into the side of the body, release down. One more lift. If you want, you can even lift the legs up, hold, release down. Relax yourself back into a child's pose and hold there while we get into our final stretch. Okay. So what I want you to do is you're in child's pose here. Push yourself onto all fours. And we're going to do our arch and hollow. So I want you to arch the back, take the gaze up to the ceiling, hollow out the stomach, pull it in. Arch, take the gaze up to the ceiling, hollow. One more. Arch, gaze up to the ceiling, hollow. Now, I want you to rest your bottom on your heels and lift both knees off the floor if you can. If this is too much, because this is really stretching out all the little bones and the ligaments and stuff in the tops of the feet, you can always do one at a time. Now we're going to come onto our bottoms and we're going to do some stretching. We're going to open our legs up to a nice wide straddle. Bring the arms behind you with a nice flat back. Push yourself forward. Really get a good stretch. Now we're going to round over, and I want you to imagine that you're walking your hands towards something that you really want. At the beginning of the workout, we were reaching towards something. We're doing it here again. Now bring both hands front and center and just push forward. Roll the pastry, we call it. like you're rolling a rolling pin. Come on up for me. I want you to take a nice deep breath in. I want you to angle yourself towards your right leg. Bring the right hand behind your back. Reach over with the left hand. And just do little fold overs here if you can. Stretching out behind the back of the leg. Come center, opposite side. So left hand comes behind the back. Right hand reaches over and gets a good stretch on the back of that leg. Come center. Now come down toward the bottom here. Come down toward the floor. Take the left hand into the left ankle and really open the chest up on the right. Now the right side. So we're bringing the hand into the ankle and really getting a swoop here. This is an amazing stretch to open up. Let's do one more each side. So we're going to bring the feet together here. We're going to reach up, over the feet, reach up, small curve in the back. Reach up, over, up, small curve. One more up, over, and hold for me. Just hold that stretch. Now I want you to come on down here to the floor into a bridge position. Keep your feet nice and close to your bottom. Bring your arms over your head. Lift your hips up toward the ceiling. Now dive your tailbone down. Undulate through the hips. Push back up toward the ceiling. Dive the tailbone down. Push up. 2 more. Dive the tailbone down. Push up. Last one. Dive the tailbone down. Bring the knees into the chest, and let's do a few little rock and rolls here to get the spine. These are our final spinal stretches. Now stay on the ground, cross the ankles, keep your shoulders off the ground, keep the upper body still, just pull the knees into the chest. And now cross the opposite way. Grab those knees again, roll on up to a seated position, and that is it, my friends. I'd like to thank you so very much for joining me here today for an official original Lotte Berk technique class. What you saw was pretty much all the elements that could be included in this just under an hour workout, and I really hope to see you again soon here at the Barre Variations Video Library, where I'll be bringing more classes in the original technique, as it is probably one of the best methods or techniques of exercise that I have ever done. So thanks again. I hope you enjoy your day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.